So soccer team, two big games this week. We're about to start a 3-week cycle where we're going to play every Thursday, Sunday, and every one of those weekends is a split weekend where we're home on one and away on the other. So challenging week, especially as we get closer into first round of exams academically. Team doing well. We ran out of time on Friday against Georgia. Great crowd. Helping us out with the Tournament Gold game. As far as the Tournament Gold goes, we were able to, along with the 12th man, just a phenomenal response for our calls out to try to help in the fight against juvenile cancer. Set another new record last year. We set a record of about $25,000. As I understand right now, we're still over $30,000, and our auction closes today at 12thman.com/auctions, and that is auctioning off player game-worn jerseys. So those are still available for anyone out, and anybody out there. Mississippi State is our opponent on Thursday. We play at 7 o'clock, and then we go to Tuscaloosa to play on Sunday evening. Both of those teams currently are tied for first place. Mississippi State having beaten Arkansas this past weekend, and Alabama having beaten South Carolina, so two big wins by both those teams. So we're hoping for a letdown from them, but not really expecting it. So open to any questions.
Let's go back to TV Row. We'll start with Tyler from KBTX.
Yeah, Coach, looking at Mississippi State, what kind of challenges do they bring, and what's going to be key Thursday night?
Well, intensity. Now that we're in SEC play, every game is really up in the air, and evidenced by this past weekend. You know, on Thursday and Friday, there were 6 games, and there were 3 games that I think people would count as upsets. Our loss was an upset. Mississippi State beating the defending champions Arkansas, seen as an upset, and then number 11 Alabama beating number 5 South Carolina, probably seen as a bit of an upset. So it's just, all these games are going to be so tight because the league has gotten to be so competitive. In past years, there was a clear separation between the top and the bottom. The bottom has risen significantly. The top has remained at a very high level, but it's made it to where there's, even though there are preseason polls and such, I think you can throw a lot of that out in that it's a very competitive league. Mississippi State's maybe the best example of that. They're very athletic. They're well coached. They have some young players who are scoring goals for them. I think they've only given up maybe 2 goals on the season. So they're very dangerous. Goalkeeper's very good. Young lady out of Houston, and they're just a hard team to break down. Their game on Thursday against Arkansas, I mean, they worked their tails off, and we know this last year was the first time we had ever not beaten them. We lost 2-1 by giving up 2 goals in the last 4 minutes of the game in what was probably the best one-game scenario of what our season was last year. So for us, obviously trying to turn the tide on that, get it to where we can, and our team has grown quite a bit since then. So it's going to be a challenging game. It's going to be a nip and tuck game for sure.
Let's go front right to Travis from the Eagle.
Looking at what Georgia did with y'all a little bit late in the game and Mississippi State stats, do you expect one where they might be kind of looking to park the bus and counterattack, and it might be a cluster inside the defensive penalty box?
Well, Mississippi State defend. They're a very good defensive team, very, very physical. Last year was a good example of the way that they defended in the last 5 minutes as we were throwing the kitchen sink at them. Compared to the way that we didn't defend in the last 4 minutes was night and day. And I think that I don't see them necessarily parking the bus in front and trying to purely counterattack, because last year they did a great job of keeping possession of the ball, probably better than we did for many parts of the game. So I have a feeling it'll be a little bit more of an open match, but which would be fine for us playing at Ellis in front of the 12th man. But they're so difficult to break down. Any chances we get, we need to find a way to stick them.
And then I know y'all are really good at creating some scoring chances. Is that a little bit maybe of a challenge against this team? I noticed they have 2 goals against, but the also lowest in number of saves too.
Well, a lot of that you can rack up to the competition, because we haven't played the same type of competition. Nothing against the way they schedule, but it's just different. But I do think that they do a great job of closing things down and really kind of stifling attacks before they really get rolling. For us, again, playing at home, I think that we continue to be a work in progress. The chances that we were able to set up against Georgia were outstanding, and I've got to give Georgia credit for, putting the post in the way of a couple of our goals, and clearing another 4 balls literally off the line that I think everybody in the park thought was a goal. So we've got to we'll be doing a lot of things in front of goal, and looking at the things that Mississippi State does, but we also have to have an eye beyond that on what Alabama does, because they're both very different teams. So that's one of the challenges of playing in this league and playing 2 games a week, is that you get chocolate on one day and you get vanilla on the other day, and it's you got to be able to prepare for both of them, and but the best way to prepare for both of them is just to prepare being the best of who we are.
Let's go middle right to Ben Peck from KAGS.
Coach, just as far as breaking down opposing defenses, how encouraged were you by y'all's ability to obviously get a couple goals while Georgia had the lead and presumably was looking to protect it, and as you mentioned, all the chances you were able to create?
Well, I think you have to look at the character of our Texas A&M student athletes. I mean, they went down. They never gave up. They kept fighting. They kept coming back. And even like I said, we ran out of time at the end. We had 17 shots. They had 3, and they beat us 3-2. So defending will be one of the things we'll be focused on. The fact that we only gave up 3 shots is pretty amazing. We can't allow 100% scoring against us. We've got to stiffen things up just a little bit more in the back, and by doing that, it allows us to be more free flowing going forward, which is what we excel at.
Any other questions for Coach G?
All right, thanks everybody. Have a great day.